Today we'll be learning the core of Dart programming language. So Dart is an open source client optimized programming language developed by Google. So it's used for both client and also the server side. The client being a mobile, desktop or web application, and we have the server that can be built with that. So over the years, Dart has gained popularity using Flutter. So Flutter is a UI toolkit used to develop mobile application, desktop application, web application, and other platform. So we can see the trend of Flutter where Flutter has gained popularity over the years. So that is an example of a programming language where we communicate to computers using binaries, and binary simply means 0 and 1. And over the years, this has been achieved through programming language like that of C#, C++, JavaScript, Java, and the like. So that as well is a programming language where it can communicate to computers in binary. So today I'll be using this code editor, Google Anti-Gravity, to showcase some of the core concept of that programming language. So to start that program, first I create a new file, and the file name is sample.dat. So the extension for that is .dat. And to start a new Dart program, you have to have this function. We go to what function is later on in the video. So void main. So anything we want to write will be inside this function file. So to do the conventional, we can just print hello world. So just print hello world, so we can see how it works basically. So hello world, so I can just click on this run, so you can see the output in my console, so you can see the hello world. So that is the conventional way. So the next thing, I will go to the variable. So variable stores your data like app, username, and score. So we have different variables and how it works. So variables basically, let me just write variables. We have var, which is, let me just use my name, Samuel. Okay, so var Samuel. So this is a variable that has inferred as string. So this one already referred to this as string already. We have the final. Basically, you can assign a new value after you have declared a final for a variable, and we have the const, which is immutable from start. So final, which is age, which is an integer. This one is a double. So we can print this keyword now to see the output. So let me just run the program. So run. So you can see this summer is 22 years old and 3.14. So this is a string inside the print keyword basically. So this basically is string interpolation. So this, we are able to refer to a particular variable inside our string value. For example, if I remove this $, this will run as normal name and not as the value of this particular name. So we'll go into string in a short while, so just stay with me. So that is a variable basically. So now the next thing we have is operators. So operator works with number and stuff. So we have the arithmetic, we have the relational, we have the logic. So now going to operators. So basically operator works with number. So I can just create a variable, let's say a and b, which is 12 and 23. So we can print the remainder of a and b. You know, for the operators, we have the arithmetic, we have plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulo. So the modulo sign is percentage sign. So now I can change this to plus. So let me just say the sum of a and b is this. So let me just run this program. So once I run this program, you can see the output. The sum of 12 and 23 is 35. So we have all the modulo here. So we have the subtraction, we have the multiplication, we have the division, and the modulo, that is the remainder. So now the next is the relational. So the relational, now we can have the greater than, the less than, greater than or equal to, we have the less than or equal to. So what this means is that it will run through the check of two values and see if the condition are met. So is a greater than b, is 12 greater than 23, that is false. So we can see the output. If I run the program, you can see the output down below. Is a greater than b, which is false. 12 is not greater than 23. So is a less than b, which is true. So this is the keyword basically. So the keyword for greater than and less than, obviously, and also the greater than equal to. So this one basically check, is it greater than or equal to? So it runs through two conditions. Is it greater than or equal to? So if it's greater than or equal to, it will say true or false. So this is false because it's not greater than and it's not equal to. So then the second one is a less than or equal to, which is A is less than B and is not equal to B, but one condition is met, which is true. So the next thing is logical. So logical deals with double and we have the double slant sign, which is or, and we have the exclamation mark, which is not. So basically the double and is running two checks like the way we have it here. Is A greater than B and is B greater than A, which is A is greater than B, and so this basically run two checks. It's just like having a statement saying MA gets meat pie and donut. So that is two conditions, you must get the two. So this one is MA gets meat pie or donut, so you can either get one of the two basically. So this is two check. If you are doing this, then these two must be true for it to return true, otherwise it will return false. If one is true and the other is false, it will return false. So the two conditions must be met. This one, either of the condition must be met. So is either this one is true or this one is true. If both are true, it's fine as well. So that's basically it for operators. So the next thing is strings. So strings are a sequence of characters that can be used with single, double quote or triple quote for showcasing some variable, and we have the interpolate the way we have been using all these variable basically. So now let's just do some things with string. Basically what I'm doing with the double forward slash is a comment. So this is a comment, double forward slash, that's a comment. So string and comment are not read by compiler, so you cannot see it in the console here. So that's why I'm using it. So it's just for developers, just for documentation sake. And also string, using the example of language. So this is a value. This is a value string. For example, if I change this to a number, it will run through error. It will run through compiler error, which is a value of type int can be assigned to a variable of type string. So that is what we have here, since we have already declared it variable here. If I change this to int, it will throw an error. If I declare this to double, it will throw an error. If I declare this to boolean, it will throw an error. So this is just strictly saying this particular variable should only accept the value of a string. So string value, and we can play around with string in multiple ways. You can see I'm learning this is string. I can change this to an uppercase. It has different function. Let me just say uppercase here to see how it works. So let me just run the program. So you can see I'm learning that switch it to uppercase. There's a lot of function that you can play around with when it comes to string as well. So string interpolate also comes with the $sign to access a variable, and we have the expression which we have used here countless times. So the expression which is using the $sign inside a string, either double quote or single quote here. So you can see the $sign here, we accessing a variable, and we have the curly bracket if the variable has extension here. So that is why we're using $sign. So the next thing now is condition. So conditions branch your code if else and else, and we have the one liner which is condition to check a code in a one line method. So let me just write conditionals. So conditionals, now we can just create if age is equal to if your age is less than 18, you should print this. This is just like condition, like you saying if a program is less than this, do this, and if it's not this, do that. So that is basically what condition is. So we have else if, we have if else, and also inside this I can still have another else if. So else if the condition, then I can say else if age is greater than 65. Let me just print you should be retired or you're a senior citizen, something like that. So you can see all the programs. So this is run through a check. So if age is greater than 18, print this. If else if it's greater than 65, print this. And if else at the end of it, if none of this is true, then print this. If you remember, the age is already declared up here. This is the age which is 22. This is the value for the age which is 22. So if we run through the check now, let me just run the program. So once we run the program, you can see you are eligible to vote because it's greater than 18. So if I change it to 12, let me just change it to 12. Let me run the program again. You can see you are not eligible to vote because you are younger than 18. Let me change it to 72. So So you can run the program again. You can see that you are eligible to vote. Let me check. Okay, so now there's a mistake. You can see that it's checking for greater than and equal to. So if it's greater than 18, it will check this. So it will run through this. So it can't even get to this if age is greater than 85. So let me just use greater than or less than. Greater than. Let me also greater than or equal to. So we have to use the and keyword. So the and is if age is greater than or equal to 18 and age is less than or equal to 25. So if I run this now, you can see that you say you are a senior citizen. So that's the work of and. So it must validate the two checks here. So the next thing now is collection. So collection holds group like list, maps, and spread with the 3 dot sign. So let me just create some example with collections. So collection, we can have like a list like this. So list colors, we have the red, as you can see how we have this list. So list have collection have list as map with key and value, and also we can use the spread operator with the 3 dot sign. Yes, so now we can run this program to see how it works. So list, you can see how it's printed out everything. Now I can get one of the value, and that starts with 0 index. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So if I want to get for green, I can just call the index 1. So I can just say index 1 like this. Then I can run the program again, and you can see that it's printing out the green. I can call for index 0 and run the program again. You can see that it's going for red. I can as well add new value to it. Let me just write add pink. Yeah, add pink. So add pink now. All right, so I can as well add a new value to it. So to add a new value, I've just got the variable which is colors.add. So pink like this. So if I call this color, you will see that it has added new values to it. So you can see now red, green, blue, and pink. Whereas in this place we only have 3. So when I add this new value, it has added a new value. It has added a new item to the list. So that is list. So we have map as well. So map works with different values. So we have the key and we have the value. So we have age. So this is the value. John age is 22. Jane age is 25. We have Bob age is 30 basically. So now we can get the value of each of this age. Now if I call ages, I can get, if I want to get the ages, the age of John, I can just say age then this to get the age of John. So it will print out 22. If I want to get the age of Bob, I will just change it to Bob, and so on and so forth. And also if I want to add new value to it, I will just call age, then give it a key, then assign a value to it basically. So that is what we mean by collection. So the next thing now I have on the list is for loop. So for loop repeats traditionally for in loop for interval. So now let's dive into for loop. For loops. So for loops basically is like you having a function that you want to run simultaneously. So basically what we have here, for loop, the for keyword, then we have 3 conditions here. So the first thing is setting a variable int I is equal to 0. So the first value is 0. Then I is less than 10. Basically if I is less than 10, then increase the value of I. So we are printing the value. So by the time the value gets to 9, that means it's less than 10. It will continue printing the value till it reaches the value that is less than 10, which is 9, that is not up to 10. So if we run this program now, you see that it will count from 0 to 9. So 9, that's the stop. So if it reaches 10, that means 10 is equal to 10 and it won't be correct. So that is why it stop at 9. So we have the for loop like that, and we have the for in loop as well. So for in, so I can say for string color in color. So this is setting a value of color in color. So we can say the colors that we have here in this particular variable, which is red, green. So it will list everything one by one, which is red, green, and blue. So for value in for color in colors, run the program. So we can just run the program like this. So it will list out everything that we have, which is red, green, blue, and pink, which is added to this program. Yeah. So the next thing now is function. So function modelize. So it's just like having the main function that we have, where we can pass different parameters and argument to the function. So the next thing now is function. So now function, basically we have the void and we have the function name. Then this is the parameter where you can pass value to the function, and also the output of the function basically. So now I can call the function, which is great. Then we assign a value because this particular function is expecting a value which is string name. So we must pass a string to the function. So the string will not print. The function basically is just printing like hello, then the name that I pass. So I can change this one now to Samuel. So if I run this program, it will say hello Samuel. So you can see basically, for example, if I change the value to like a number or integer, it will run through an error, like runtime error, because undefined name, this and this trying to get the value basically, because this does not exist. Yeah, so that is what that is all about basically. So that is function. And also we have the shorthand, where we can change this to like expression. So we can have the equal to, greater than. So this basically, instead of having the curly bracket, we can have this for a single line function as well. So this is still pretty much the same thing with the curly bracket here. So the next thing now is nullability. So since that's not safe, since that 2.12, it prevents crashes with the question mark. For nullable, we have the exclamation mark to assert null, and we have the double question mark for default. So let me just do that basically. Ability. So nullability basically is just like setting string. You can see the question mark, which is Samuel is equal to null. So this is like okay, we already have a string for Samuel. Let me just say job like this. You can see string job is equal to null. You can accept a non-val. For example, if I remove this, it will run through an error because this has not been declared as nullable. That is, it can accept non-value. So I cannot declare it with question mark, so it can accept non-value. So if I print job now, you can see the output will be none. So the output of the job will be none because we make it to accept non-value. So that is it basically. So that's all for this nullability. Let me know what you think in the comments about the basic of that. If you want more of this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also drop an honest comment in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye.